Happy Saturday, Risers. We hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Sagar and I are back with some of our favorite moments from the week. According to intelligence officials, an explosion at Iran's Natanz nuclear complex has put Iran under extreme internal and external pressure regarding that program. Expert on U.S.-Iranian relations and Iranian foreign politics, Professor Trita Parsi weighed in on why this could escalate tensions between the U.S. and Tehran.
You have pretty open speculation in the Israeli media that Israel has a finger in this. In fact, one of Netanyahu's advisors tweeted congratulations with a video of one of the explosions. And then he added in Arabic, the fight against the Persians have now been taken to their own territory. What was interesting with that quote, particularly mindful of the fact that it was in Arabic, is that it's almost verbatim what the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia said in May 2017 when he said that he's going to take the fight against the Persians to their own territory. Now, what it seems is that this is dragging the U.S. closer to war once more. And even if, and I want to emphasize if, because we're not entirely sure that this actually set back the program 2 years, even if that is the case, what it did is set it back 2 years, whereas the nuclear deal would have set it back at least 15 years. So you tell me which one is the more effective strategy.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, I love always talking to Dr. Parsi there. It's funny, he was my professor in grad school. That's how we first got him on. And I remember we were talking about this back in 2015, 2016, whenever all of this was happening. And he would always give very challenging assumptions here, and that's exactly what has happened, which is that at the end of the day, a lot of the assumptions made by the anti-Iran deal crowd have been pretty dramatically challenged by how things have gone.
Yeah.
And I think the most important point that he made there was that Rouhani, by going on the president of Iran, by going out on such a limb, by trying to work with the U.S., has all but ensured his defeat in the upcoming presidential election, and that defeat will lead to the escalation of hardliners there, which will probably destroy any real diplomatic solution for time to come, because the window, as Parsi says in our interview, for renegotiating any sort of Iran deal, very, very small.
Right. That's really the problem. And we also talked to him about the fact that this hardline approach from the Trump administration, which was shaped a lot by both Pompeo and Bolton when he was there. I mean, this is still kind of an extension of his views on Iran and the approach to it. The whole idea was we're going to pressure him back to the negotiating table, and that's going to enable us to get a better deal. Well, what it looks like right now is that hardline negotiating tactic and posture and these sorts of potentially covert actions have actually pushed them closer to the arms of China. There's news out that they're getting closer to an economic and security deal with China that hasn't been signed yet based on what we know, but that has actually been the result. And to strengthen the hand of hardliners within Iran, not to bring them to the negotiating table. That's what it looks like right now.
Certainly. And so now, with the beginning of school just weeks away from many states, Americans are beginning to weigh in on returning to the classroom in the midst of the pandemic. Doctoral student at the University of Georgia, Irami Osei-Frimpong, he believes online education would further a wedge between the top 20% and the working class. Let's take a listen to what he said.
This lack of public education ends up being fundamentally anti-worker, or this lack of content in economic rights, and I think racial justice ends up being fundamentally anti-worker and fundamentally anti-black. Right? So the question is, can this be mitigated through homeschooling? I just don't think so, because we can't expect every parent to understand these issues. That's why we have professionals. The idea that you could deprofessionalize teaching and privatize it, like I said, I think importantly demotes a lot of working class people, because the people at the top 20%, they're gonna have private tutors, they're gonna have someone else go through their kid, they're gonna have boutique schools of stay-at-home parents or of work-at-home parents. They'll figure this out. But for everybody else, they'll just end up more prey to the power plays of the top 20%.
I think he says it.
Great point.
I mean, I think that this school reopening debate and the people who are using it to further their own ideological ends, all of that is so important and so fascinating. There was an article that came out in the New York Times after we spoke to Irami about how, private schools have the money and the space to limit class sizes and to be able to reopen safely. Public schools do not. And no one is giving them the funds to be able to do so. So there was actually PTA president. I believe this was at Barack Obama's school in Hawaii, actually. Side note,
Yeah.
fact check me there. But she said, if we were a country interested in saving schools the same way we've saved airlines and banks, then this is a problem we could solve.
Wow.
So well said.
There you go. Yeah, no, it tells you everything you need to know about priorities. So.
That does it for us. We're going to be back later today with the week that was in media screw-ups.
That's right. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos. And also don't forget to like and share as well. Tomorrow, going to be back for another round of #RisingQs. See you guys then.